Okay, let's unpack this. If you've spent any time online in the last couple of years, your inbox, probably your spam folder too, is just flooded with copy that sounds eerily similar.
All the same.
It's so fast, it's efficient, and it is utterly soulless. These AI tools like ChatGPT, they promise speed, but what they often deliver is content that just lands with a dull, generic thud.
Yeah.
So we're facing this huge content dilemma.
Huh.
How do you stand out when it feels like everyone is using the same robots to write their messages?
It's a crisis of quality, really, but it's disguised as a boon in productivity. The market is just saturated with content that's, technically correct, but it completely fails to convert. Why? Because it lacks any authenticity.
Right.
So today, we're diving into the solution offered by an expert who saw this coming early on, Miguel Campaner. He has 8 years of experience, he's mentored over 4,000 Filipino copywriters, and he shifted his focus from celebrating AI to, well, addressing its fundamental weakness in sales.
Which is that flood of mediocre output. So our mission for this deep dive is to really synthesize the frameworks he developed. He calls it the modern way to write high-converting sales copy.
And the core idea here, the main insight, is that success really just depends on how you merge human creativity, that emotional intelligence, with AI's efficiency.
It's not about finding the perfect prompt anymore.
No, not at all. It's about knowing how to transform what the AI gives you into something that's compelling and, crucially, something that actually sells.
We're looking for that playbook, the one that turns a fast, robotic draft into a human-driven conversion machine. This deep dive should show you exactly where the AI should stop and where your creative input has to begin.
So your message actually connects with a real person.
Which takes us right into the core philosophy here, the AI paradox. What did Campaner actually see that made him pivot from, excitement to genuine concern?
Well, he saw businesses rushing to adopt these tools. They were publishing content at breakneck speed, only to watch their conversion rates just flatline or even drop.
So the problem was immediate.
Oh, yeah. The content sounded, in his words, robotic. It lacked authenticity, and it just failed to connect. The copy felt clinical. It was missing the nuanced language, the personal stories, the vulnerability you need to build real trust.
It's like having a Formula One car and just driving it straight into a wall. You're going nowhere very, very quickly.
And you wasted all the fuel. So the solution, the foundational principle, has to be this merger. We have to clearly define the strengths of both sides.
Okay, so what does each bring to the table?
Absolutely. So AI is brilliant at processing data, recognizing patterns, generating volume. It's a fantastic engine for research, for organization.
And the human element.
That's our creativity, our emotional intelligence. That's what excels at identifying those deep-seated pain points, anticipating objections, and weaving a memorable, specific story. One provides the structure, the other provides the soul.
This is where it gets really tactical because he gives us a specific metric for this. The 75-90% rule. Tell us what AI is actually responsible for in that range.
The sources are very clear on this. AI is the master of the first draft. It can handle research, it can create logical outlines, it can do all the boilerplate language. It gets you 75%, maybe even 90% of the way there.
So it's like the construction crew that builds the frame and the walls of a house.
Perfect analogy. It's essential, it's fast, but nobody buys a house that's just walls and a roof.
Okay, but here's the question then. If AI is doing up to 90% of the heavy lifting, why should a business pay an experienced writer for that last 10%? Why not just, use cheap outsourcing for a final polish?
That is the critical question. And the answer is that the final 10% to 25% is where all the money is made, period. This is where the human writer takes that logical structure from the AI and injects authenticity and specificity.
Okay, so what does that look like in practice?
It means adding a hyper-specific personal story about a struggle. It means using insider language that only your ideal customer understands. It means applying future pacing, describing the emotional transformation the product delivers, not just listing features. An AI can describe a feature perfectly. Only a human can describe the feeling of finally escaping a specific, agonizing problem. And that distinction. That's the conversion driver.
So if the AI output says this product saves you time, the human edit turns it into something like, remember that Sunday night dread when you realized you wasted 5 hours on admin and missed your kid's game? This product kills that specific feeling.
Yes. That shift from an abstract benefit to a concrete emotional pain point it's huge. It's the difference between information and connection. AI gives you the speed, The human provides the empathy, the unique texture that makes the copy stick.
AI is the assistant. The human is the closer.
Explicitly.
The closer.
That distinction is the guardrail we need. So we have the philosophy. Let's transition into the tactical pitfalls. The expert identifies 3 big mistakes he sees over and over again, costing businesses millions.
And these aren't small things. They're fundamental violations of that 75-90% rule we just talked about. And they're made so much easier to commit because of the speed of these AI tools. Mistake number 1, over-relying on AI to write sales copy.
This is the most common sin. Businesses just hit the publish button way too soon. When they rely only on AI, they get generic, soulless copy. It lacks that emotional connection.
It sounds like it's selling to the reader, not speaking with them.
Exactly. The fix is, again, you have to bring in those personal stories, the nuanced perspectives, the genuine human experiences. If a reader doesn't feel the human behind the keyboard, they are not going to open their wallet.
Okay, so mistake number 2 is listed as neglecting EEAT in digital content. For anyone who doesn't know, EEAT is expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Right. It's a big term in the SEO world for proving to search engines that you're a real expert.
But what's fascinating is that the source gives the exact same description for this error as it did for mistake #1.
It also results in generic, soulless copy. And this is so powerful because it highlights that EEAT is not just an SEO term anymore. It's a fundamental conversion requirement. You cannot achieve real expertise and authority in your copy without injecting those specific human-validated details.
Details that only a true expert would know or would have lived through.
Exactly. So if you use a basic prompt like write a sales page for a productivity app, the AI will spit out facts, but it won't include my experience of finally beating procrastination with that app.
Or the authority you gained from running it for a year. That's what EEE demands.
So if you fail mistake #1, relying too much on AI, you inherently fail mistake #2. The path to high conversion and high search ranking is now the same path: radical authenticity and specificity.
The machine is forcing us to become more human in our marketing.
Not less, which is an amazing irony.
It really is. That brings us to the 3rd mistake, the one that kills momentum instantly. Opening with boring generalizations.
Ugh, the dreaded click-away error. Copywriters who haven't adapted, and the AI tools trained on all that average content, they so often start with statements that are true, but just completely uninteresting.
Like, in today's fast-paced digital world.
Yes. Or, are you ready to unlock your full potential? These generalizations just fail to grab attention. They communicate nothing new, nothing exciting.
You lose the reader in 3 seconds because their brain just files it under more of the same.
The requirement, then, is an immediate, powerful hook. Your opening has to lead with something interesting, maybe a compelling statistic that shocks the reader, or a powerful statement that speaks directly and urgently to their exact situation right now.
You have to earn the next second of their attention.
That's what he stresses. The first few sentences are the whole conversion point, just to get them to keep reading.
So all 3 mistakes really trace back to the same failure: relying on algorithmic efficiency instead of human empathy and those high-impact specific details.
Absolutely. AI is a fantastic engine, but if you don't have human direction focused on emotion and ruthless specificity, that engine just runs right off a cliff.
All right, let's shift gears. We've done the philosophy, we've done the mistakes. Let's look at the strategic application, what the expert calls the modern way. This gets into the specific skills you need to actually implement this human-AI merger.
And these lessons, they break down really nicely into 3 key areas. The first is what he calls AI-specific frameworks. These are all designed to make sure you're maximizing that 75–90% without falling into the generic trap.
Right. I see a few trainings dedicated just to this. One is on AI-fueled copy, which isn't just about, throwing words at a machine. It's about using structured, tested prompts for research and writing copy that already fits a conversion framework.
And that strategic direction really pays off. The material points to a case study where using this specific AI framework generated $1.4 million in sales for a client.
Wow.
Which proves the value is in the direction, not just the generation.
And there are also these hyper-specific utility trainings. Like, there's a lesson on how to write bullets using ChatGPT.
Such an essential skill, turning complex ideas into short, punchy, persuasive points that people actually read.
And there's a big focus on doing this ethically, like in the training on how to swipe emails using ChatGPT. It seems to be about analyzing the structure of high-converting emails and then using smart prompts to adapt that proven framework to your own unique voice.
Right, so you avoid sounding like a copycat, but you capture the structure that's already working.
The last AI-focused lessons are more holistic. They cover AI sales funnels and AI product launch funnels.
Which suggests the highest value for AI is in creating consistent copy for every single stage of the buyer's journey, from the first ad all the way to the checkout page.
Okay, so moving past the tech, we get to the second category, core foundational copywriting principles. This really just reaffirms that you can't be a great AI editor if you weren't a great writer to begin with.
You have to have the fundamentals, and I found the cerebral framework really fascinating here. It's presented as a one-size-fits-all framework that connects copywriters with, of all people, filmmakers and animators.
Which suggests that powerful conversational copy is really just universal storytelling, but adapted for sales.
You're learning to tell a story that moves people no matter the medium. And there's a focus on fundamentals people often skip, like a training on the fastest way to master copywriting, highlighting a skill most new writers fail to develop.
Which is probably deep market empathy, right? The ability to internalize what the customer needs before you write a single word.
Almost certainly. They also include principles for writing sales letters and making ads stand out, using tactics like adding a touch of mystery or intrigue.
And that brings us to the third category, which just dominates the whole curriculum, email mastery. Almost half of the lessons are focused on email. That signals that he believes this is still the definitive battleground in the AI era.
It's where that human-to-human connection is really made or broken. And the level of specialization is pretty remarkable. There are dedicated trainings on injecting persuasion triggers, writing broadcast emails that build KLT, know, like, and trust.
And even how to write pre-frame emails that shift someone's mindset before you even make an offer.
It's not about just pushing a sale. It's about nurturing a relationship. It all culminates in crafting core email sequences, emphasizing that conversion today is a system, not just a series of one-off messages.
So we've covered the philosophy, the mistakes, the tactics. Let's just briefly touch on the credibility of the expert here, Miguel Campaner.
Right. He spent 8 years in the industry, helped clients make millions, and he's built this massive community, over 19,900 members in his Facebook group as of late 2024. This isn't theory. He's teaching what he actively does in the market.
And this leads us to the value proposition in the source material, which is framed to make you realize how small the cost is compared to the potential reward. He calculated the total value of all 18 trainings and the bonuses at $25,000 top.
Which is a huge figure, especially in the Philippine market. That's a significant educational investment. But what makes the offer so compelling is the access price.
It's just $499.
Instant access to everything for only $499. And to make that feel real for you, the materials explicitly say this is less than the cost of 3 cups of good Starbucks coffee. It completely reframes a big decision into a trivial one.
It removes the financial barrier entirely. He's basically betting that the knowledge is the key, and the only thing left is your own commitment to actually applying it.
Which brings us to the final critical framing in the source material. In the AI era, you are standing at a crossroads. There are only 2 types of marketers now.
Standing at the junction, as they put it.
Option 1. You blindly trust AI prompts. You become part of the noise, creating generic content that gets lost. It's fast, it's cheap, and it leads to copy that doesn't convert.
And option 2 is making that small investment in strategic knowledge like these frameworks to learn how to leverage AI correctly. You learn that crucial human 10% that lets you stand out and get results.
You use the technology as a scaling tool, not a replacement for talent.
So it's a choice between using AI to save a little money on a task that ultimately fails, or using AI to scale the high-quality, authentic copy you already know how to write.
Exactly.
Ultimately, this whole deep dive reveals the strategic application of AI. That's the new standard. It's a tool for speed, but the money-making quality still relies entirely on human creativity for that crucial final polish.
But this raises a really important question about the difference between just, consuming knowledge and actively implementing it. The sources mention a one-of-a-kind guarantee for action takers.
Right. He rewards users who finish the course and prove they've used the material within 90 days.
They have to send a 3-minute video showing their notes and demonstrating how they've taken action. The reward for that is an exclusive training module worth $5,000.
That's a brilliant move. It ties the knowledge directly to accountability.
It is. The insight here is that valuable knowledge that has generated millions, is so often wasted if it isn't paired with committed, demonstrable action. You have the access, but only those willing to do the work get rewarded further.
So the final question for you is, What kind of knowledge are you consuming, and are you valuing it enough to actively prove you're implementing it?